Good evening, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hope you're all doing okay and having a great night.
Exactly. Welcome, everybody, to orientation day 4 of KickStart 2025 for the summer. Woohoo! I'm Jean-Luc.
I'm Nick.
And you know what? We're here today because it's one of the most important days, actually. It's the day today where we're going to actually be talking about our KickStart journey and your commitments. We're actually going to be talking about the commitments and why they're so important. And we're going to show you exactly how you create them and how you track them. So before we get into anything, those of you who have the book, you can follow along. This is the KickStart book, which again, not mandatory. It's an actual option. Everything you can find on the website to create your everything is on the website. We created this book for this journal, for those of you who like to have a tangible thing in your hands and like to write things out. That's what this is for. So we are currently on page 64, orientation day 4, April 23rd. And so before we go into the whole how and this and what, let's talk about why there's a big difference between goals and commitments. And, that's what gets people stuck most of the time, okay? Where you're trying to understand what's a goal, what's a commitment. And let's go ahead and dive into that.
Okay, so Jean-Luc, I have a quiz for you.
You have a quiz for me?
What's your goal right now?
So what's my goal right now? So I'd say I want to feel stronger and have more energy.
Okay, that's a good goal. I like that goal. But what are you committing to every day to get there?
Okay, so basically what I'm doing right now is I'm doing my daily step classes, except for in the morning, because right now we're having a hard time waking up at 6:30 a.m. And then not only that, our microphone today, we only had one. So the mic set that we just bought that we used last Thursday on the cooking show is crap. So we're sending it back. It's not good. I'm also drinking at least 6 glasses of water a day. I should be drinking at least my 6 glasses of water a day. And I am getting my 7+ hours of sleep every night.
Okay, so exactly. So let's say it for everyone watching, your goal is where you want to go. So where Jean-Luc wants to go is...
I want to get more energy and I want to feel stronger.
The commitment is a vehicle that gets you there. The action you repeat over and over to get yourself to your goal.
So as you can see, those small 3 things that I did were tiny. So if your goal, let's say, I want to lose weight, what can a commitment that you can create in order to help you lose weight? 1, tracking your food. That's a great commitment. I'm going to track my food. If you're not doing it all right now, I would not say I'm going to track my food 7 days a week, 3 times a day. I'm going to track every single meal. Is that realistic to you right now because you're not even doing it? Probably not. So a good commitment would be, I'm going to track all my breakfasts for the next 42 days. If you track other meals, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But you're committing to only tracking your breakfasts for the 42 days. Or you can even say, you know what, 42 days, tracking every day, I don't think I could do it. Let's make it even smaller. I'm going to do it 4 out of the 7 days a week. So that way I'm going to commit to tracking my breakfast 4 out of 7. So yet again, you're making it achievable. So that way you feel the success when you're doing it. Another one is I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to make sure that I'm drinking water. So creating a commitment around drinking water, because how many of us struggle with drinking water? A lot of us do, right? So one of my last commitments, last Kickstart, I will tell you this. My commitment was before I have a cup of coffee Monday through Friday, I did 5 days a week because those were the days that I drink the most coffee in the morning. I had to finish 1 Yeti of water first. And that was my commitment. And I did it for 42 days. It was great. It hasn't stuck though. So that means I need to work on that type of commitment. I'm not drinking my water enough. So now I need to create a commitment around water drinking again. Another one is walking 5,000 steps. That's a great commitment. But I'm going to say this for those people who are currently not walking 5,000 steps. Don't give yourself 5,000 steps. Unless you're saying, I'm going to walk 5,000 steps 3 days a week. Great. Or maybe take that and say, I'm going to walk 2,500 steps. Look and see if you currently have an average of what you're currently doing and maybe up it just a little bit.
You don't want your commitments to be out of reach.
Yes.
So some people have been submitting their commitments, and some of them, we were giving our feedback back, but some of people are really stacking themselves too many things every single day. So if you're saying you're going to do 10 things every day, remember that's 10 things for 42 days. So say one of your commitments is I'm going to, do walking for 5K every day. I'm also going to do 30 minutes of swimming. I'm going to do 30 minutes of journaling, 30 minutes of meditation. And by the end of the day, when are you going to work? When are you going to sleep?
What am I going to do? Oh,
right?
It's now midnight. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So you need to make sure what you're building yourself makes sense for your life.
Yeah.
And Jean-Luc also talked about this yesterday. You also have to look what's going on.
What's happening in the next 42 days.
Between April 28th and June 7th when we're ending. You have to look at that whole date range and say, okay, do my commitments fit within that range? If you know you're going to go away to a cottage for a month because that's your plan for May, you're going to cottage for a month.
Can I come?
Yeah, can I come? Is there Wi-Fi there so I can work from there?
Yeah, we need to work from there though.
So if you're going to college for a month, you need to look at your commitments. So say one of your commitments is I'm gonna wash a window in my home for 42 days.
Do you have 42 windows in your house?
That's what I put for one of mine.
But you're
one window pane a day.
A day? We should calculate to see how many window panes you
There's more than 42.
There's
more than 42.
Perfect.
Yeah, I already calculated. So
he's doing that
outside too.
Yeah, I get to wash the windows. Yeah.
So you have to make sure you look at what you're doing for the entire time and make sure your commitments fit. So say, as I said, your commitment is to wash your windows. If you're going away for a month at a cottage, you're not going to wash windows for a month. So that commitment might not work this time. So maybe you have to tweak it. So you have to look as well as the entire date range and make sure that what you're doing is something you can do for those 42 days to set yourself up for success.
So that was a great example about the whole losing weight aspect of a goal, right? A goal aspect. But let's do a different one, just so that way you can understand that you don't only have to commit to weight loss. And we encourage you not only to commit to weight loss, because you know what? When you get obsessed with just one thing, it becomes overwhelming. But if you find, what do we talk about a weight loss journey? Balance. So why does a weight loss journey only have to be about weight loss? Include other things in order to make you happy.
And part one, so we will bring this up tonight because I hope some of you did the homework last night and actually read ahead for today. So if you look in the book on page 69 and 70, there's a whole section that starts off by asking you to find your areas of interest.
Yes.
Those areas of interest are where do you want to make changes in your life? So for example, finance.
Yep.
Health.
Yep.
Career.
Yep.
Mindset.
Yep.
Activity. Those are your areas of focus. So these are just broad topics of things that you want to work on.
And there could be multiple that we are not even naming out right now. There is no wrong answer.
Yes.
There's no wrong answer.
From those 5 areas of concern or of focus, you go to page 71 and 72. And here this exercise tells you, find 5 goals from those areas of focus. Does not mean you have to have 1 goal per area of focus. You can have 3 goals for 1 area. You might decide, you know what, I'm not going to work on finance this time. I know I put it on my page 1, but I'm not going to work on that. You just pick the 5 goals that you think you want to achieve at the end of 42 days, or at least something you want to work towards at the 42 days. Once you've done that, you go to the next 2 pages, and there's a whole from page 73 to page 79. It works you through an exercise of creating your 15 possible commitments. And I say 15 because it's 3 per goal that you're going to write out, but you're not doing all these commitments. This is just a draft.
This is your brainstorming.
This is your brainstorming. You can write 15 different things you can think of wanting to do. Once you've done that, you'll be able to then put in your 9 that you or whatever amount you want to add, and then you'll be going to the dashboard to submit it. So we'll talk to you about other ways of looking for your commitments now.
Yeah. So basically, let's talk about a different commitment. Let's say you want, what do you want to do?
A different goal.
A different goal. So what's another goal?
Getting organized. Cleaning up our condo.
So basically, he's telling Jean-Luc, create a commitment to clean the condo.
I told him already. I'm doing the windows.
Yeah, you are. Okay, I'll give you that.
It's spring. They gotta get done. I thought one window. I hate cleaning windows, so I'm like 1 window a day.
It's good exercise when you think about it, yeah.
But
I
love the top ones. Done.
Yeah.
Our top ones are this small.
They're this
What?
big.
Done today. But
Well, okay, guys, look at this. I'm not gonna lie.
there's a lot of windows.
Windows. We have a whole corner unit of windows.
And each room.
And then each room has windows. Oh my God, the bedroom windowsill is gonna be clean.
Yes.
Now he's gonna have a beautiful place to sleep.
Yes. Yes. So that's one of my commitments. I might change it. And he's making me think of changing it now because he's being so like.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it that I don't have to do windows this summer.
Yes. So if your goal is to clean, organize, then some possible commitments could be like I'm doing. Wash one window pane a day for 42 days. By the end of the week, the 42 days, your windows will be done. You're doing one a day.
And by the time, in 42 days, the first one won't get that dirty.
No.
Right?
Who cleans their windows twice a year? It's a once a year thing. In the spring, us Canadians know this.
No, Donna cleans them twice a year.
Okay, well, I don't. You wake up in the spring when all the snow's gone and you remove all the soot everywhere.
Well, yeah, I guess if you're living up north, that does make sense.
They have dirts up there.
Another thing is too, and I love
dirt roads.
I love this next one is I'm gonna make my bed every morning. I'm gonna make my bed every morning. I love this one. I know someone already put that on their because guess what? What happens when you make your bed? It feels like your room is clean, doesn't it? It changes the whole look of your room. You can have the cleanest room, but if the bed and pillows, not only that, you get to go to bed to a nice clean bed.
We always make
our bed. Very rarely.
We're good boys.
Yeah, we always, but we also only sleep with one blanket where there's no sheets.
Yeah.
Anyways, TMI.
We tangle ourselves in sheets. We move too much. We're like I always call myself a typewriter. I go ching, ching. That's how I sleep.
Or another thing you could do too, which is another thing, I did it last time, pick 15 minutes of cleaning before bed or pick a specific time of day that works for you. If you know before bed, you're the type of person that says, oh, I'm not gonna do it. I know, like you're not gonna do it. Do it in the time of day that you know you're most you have your most energy or you feel the most energetic. It could be early in the morning, it could be during your lunch, it could be after work. Pick that time of day. If it is before bed, then albeit do it before bed, which is great. But make sure you're making, again, this commitment work in your life. Oops. Right there. So we need to be clear, right? They need to be clear, measurable, and you don't want to go, it's not, I will be healthy.
How do you measure that?
Or, but you can say this, I will stretch for 10 minutes every morning. Do you see the difference?
Can you do that? Yeah.
Stretching for 10 minutes every morning is being healthy, right? And it's not just this vague idea of, oh yeah, I'm going to be healthy. Well, we can all walk around and say, I'm going to be healthy, right? But are we actually doing something to be healthy?
Another thing that you have to make sure is that you make sure that you write down your commitment you wish you could do, not something you wish you could do, something you can do.
Or will do.
Okay? Because if you write yourself something in your commitments that's a lofty goal, for example, and I always go back to this because I'm a person that did this all the time. When it's time to start working out, I would always try to go run on a treadmill and then hurt myself. So if you're not running right now and you haven't ran in years and you put on your commitment, I will run a 5K every day. How is that something you can achieve right away at the beginning of KickStart? It's not feasible. So you have to make sure what you're picking is something you can do. We can't stress that enough because a lot of people give up on their commitments. And I'll tell you this right now, is because they created something that was too difficult for them to continue and maintain.
And you need to be able to measure it. Matt said it in the chat. Measurable goals are so important. When you don't have something that you can actually tangible measure, and when we're saying measure, you're not taking the measuring tape out and seeing how long your goal is. No, not that, right? It's something that you can actually legitimately document somehow to say, yes, I did this, I completed this, and it's making me feel good. Imagine how you're going to feel every day when you're checking things off. Because one of the things that you need to realize, who are you here to impress?
Not me.
Who are you here to impress if you're doing this?
I was actually going to say, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less if you're doing your commitment.
You're here to impress yourself and nobody else. Yeah. You're here to satisfy your need to being a healthier, happier person. It's all about you.
We're here to support you. We can't be in your home and tell you to do this and do that. We're trying to create something that will make you guys feel and empowered and
want to
supported
do
and
more.
want to do more after the 42 days.
You always have to think of this analogy, and I love giving this analogy when we talk about commitments. Okay, we talk about, you know, babies, young babies, they're about to learn to walk. So about anywhere between 7 months to a year old is when you start seeing babies start taking their first steps, right? So when your child or grandchild, niece or nephew or friend's child got up and did their first step, did you look at them and said, oh my God, you suck. I can't believe you only did one step. Did you say that to this child?
I did.
Never, right? Never. You went, oh my God, you took the camera out, you started recording it. You're like, oh my God, I gotta get next time because he's gonna do 2 steps next time. And the next time after that, he's gonna do 3 steps.
We do that with the cats.
Oh my God, you used the letter.
Isn't it funny that we encourage other people, but when it comes to us, we expect the biggest and brightest and boldest things to get accomplished within a snap of a finger. And that's not realistic. That is not what creating good habits is all about, because you start where you are right now, and you can always increase the intensity as you go along. You know what? These sports people, these artists, these piano players, these painters, do you think some of them, yes, maybe as soon as they were born, they were talented? Yes, but a lot of them, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. And we take the work for granted. But that's what commitments are about. It's not to take it for granted. It's actually to learn from it and to appreciate every single moment.
And so once you have your commitments, once you've gone through the exercise and you get to page 80 in the book, you'll have your first 9 drafted commitments. And believe me, they might change. And so what you do next is you submit them on the website. And I'm going to show you guys right now how to do that. Woo! So let me load up the website slowly.
So as he talks about that, I just really want, again, I'm going to emphasize this as much as I possibly can. Make your commitments as easy as you. I would always recommend this. I will recommend this. Make some of your commitments so easy that you don't even need to think about it. Some of them, not all. One of them can be as easy as, I'm going to make sure that I smile at 3 people today. I know that sounds silly, but smiles are free. Why do we have to walk around with resting bitch face, right?
I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to stretch in bed before I get up.
Before I get up, I'll do my stretches in bed. And there's nothing wrong with piggybacking commitments, right? I want to read for 10 minutes, but I also want to walk for 10 minutes. Ooh, maybe I put some headsets on and I go listen to my book as I'm walking outside. Boom, boom, 2 commitments done. 10 minutes.
And then he's taking his water with him, so he's drinking his 3 cups at the same time.
Done. Like, I mean, honestly, keep that in mind when you're creating these commitments. So that way you're not feeling overwhelmed.
And you're also cleaning windows.
And I'm cleaning, no, that's you. I'm not cleaning one window this summer. I am not touching a rag and putting it to the window. No, I will clean the mirrors in the washroom.
Okay, so let me share the screen with you guys, and I'll show you how to submit your commitments. So this is new. So people who've done KickStart, you never saw this before because this was not like this. This is a new addition to the website. So when you load onto the dashboard, you'll scroll down. There's 2 ways to access this page. I'll show you from the main page here. If you go to the menu, you see how there's a track, not track. Did I put it there?
I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
So no, you have to go here.
Okay, so you click on access daily guide. So day 4's daily guide. Once you load it up, today's daily guide, you scroll down all the way to almost the bottom. There's a section called My Commitments right here.
You will not be putting your commitments in this section.
Yes, I'll explain that right now.
Thank you.
So you scroll down from there. These are my commitments. You can see, I will wash 1 window pane per day. See, I told you I put it in. So these are where your commitments will appear after you submitted them. So those of you who submitted them yesterday or midway through today, like to lunch today, if you go to the dashboard right now, you'll see your commitments are up now. They were uploaded throughout the day. So I think Scott, Carmen, a few of you guys, your commitments are now up, so you guys can actually go review them.
Dude.
So if you scroll below that, you see there's a button here called Submit My Commitments. You click on that, it'll load up the commitments page. This page will talk to you about how to find your commitments. Everything we went through right now, Jean-Luc and I, all the instructions we just gave you and the things that are in this book
Page 64.
are right here on the website. So if you don't have the book, you just come here and read this here. Below that is your commitments list again, but if you keep going, see it says update my commitments. There is a form down here that you fill out. Your first name, your last name, your email. There's a checkbox here. I want my commitments reviewed by Jean-Luc and Nick. So if you want Jean-Luc and I to review your commitments to make sure they're okay, you check that box. You then fill in all the fields, commitments 2 to number 10, and you just click submit. That will send the commitments to us. If you wanted them reviewed, we will then take about 24 hours to review them. Sometimes we're faster than that. We'll then send you a response, and then your commitments area up here will update about 24 hours after you submit them because it's all a manual process, and then you'll see your commitments here every single day. So that's how simple and easy it is to do. You open to your dashboard, go to today's daily task, scroll down all the way to the submit my commitments button, click on that, and then just come here and enter all your information right here. And I can actually do it right now.
And this is basically what you're going to be doing every week if you are someone who decides to
change,
embellish, maybe modify, change your commitments.
Because you are allowed to also change your commitments. That's something else that we haven't touched upon yet. So say some of you are gung-ho and you're not listening to what we're telling you.
Yeah,
and
because there are some of you who are
some of you who won't listen.
No, that's okay.
That's okay. It happens.
You got to learn.
Yeah.
You know what? If you don't fail, you'll never succeed.
Yeah. So some people might put, I want to walk a 5K every day. And they start week 1 and to get to day 7, they're like, you know what? That's too much. I can't do 5K every day. It's just too much for me. So instead, you'll go back and change your commitment. Say, okay, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes every day. And so you're allowed to tweak your commitments every Sunday in KickStart. Your daily task is to look at your commitments and revise them if needed. So we recommend doing it once a week just because it's hard to establish if you're so good at something if you go too quickly. But of course, you can change it if you want. We're not going to stop you. You can submit the form at any time.
And we also recommend not deciding, so going 1 week and saying, okay, next week I'm changing them all completely. That's not what we recommend doing either. The ones you are completely struggling with are the ones we completely understand that you want to tweak. And we don't always say maybe removing that one and creating a whole different one, but learning how to adapt that commitment and changing it to make it work for you. That's what we're saying by changing your commitment or tweaking it. We've got kitties going fighting in the background over here.
So now the next step, which is the submission of your tracker. So we'll talk to you guys in a bit about how to, what it means, why we're tracking, the whole story behind it. But since I'm already on the website, I'm going to show you right now where you can track your commitments throughout KickStart. So you guys can see where it is. And we'll close this share and then we'll talk to you guys about what's important about having tracking, why we're doing it, and then the KickStart score and what that's all about. So if we go back to our dashboard, okay, so now it's the end of the day. You just finished your day.
It's Monday, April 28th.
You just wrote down on Monday. So this is Monday right here. I love the coloring because it does help me find the sections I need. I just realized that. I'm so smart sometimes. So day 1's right here. So day 1, once you're done the day, you'll have all your commitments checked off. You know, your commitments will be checked off. You'll then come to the dashboard. You will scroll down. You can either go to the menu down here and click track my commitments, which is available on the menu, or you go again to your daily guide because everything's there. Once you load the daily guide, you scroll down again below the commitment section.
Again, you have to take in consideration, these are all stuff you'll be doing through the day. So remember, oh, I've done this already. I do the next one. Like each section is something you need to do that day. So by the end of the day, you're going to be at the bottom of this page,
which is track your commitments. And you'll notice even for the orientation week, the form is already here. Some of you guys have been trying it out, testing it out, submitting it, which is great. So the same thing, you come here, fill in your information, you choose for what date you're submitting for, because even though you're on today's date, you still have to tell me because you can be submitting for yesterday. So yesterday's tracker, you haven't submitted it yet, you still want to submit it, you can still do it from here. You just have to make sure you select the correct date. Then you enter all the commitments you completed for the day. So you just click them off. And then below that, there's other options. There's, I committed to today's daily task. I completed today's fitness task. I attended a chat or cooking show. I completed a step class, or I want to submit my weight. What are these for? We'll talk to you about tomorrow about the KickStart contest. So by participating every day, you're going to earn ballots for the KickStart contest. At the end of this 42 days, we give away 3 $50 gift cards to Amazon based on the amount of times you do certain things.
There's more than just Amazon.
I think we're just gonna switch. it
Oh,
to
we're
Amazon.
switching. Never mind.
Yes.
Or something else.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
To
out.
something you want. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
So you'll get, there's 3 possible $50 prizes that we'll be giving away. And these allow you to gain ballots. So if you submit your tracker for just your commitments, you'll gain 1 ballot. If you complete today's task, which is,
I thought we were talking about this tomorrow.
yeah, but I will get,
Okay, I'm
But
just
no-
making sure you didn't want to
it's
go.
because
with
it's already
it.
here.
No, but I'm just saying, you said tomorrow.
I know. And that, so what happens is your daily task, which is to this week is your orientation task, is what you check off when you do this. If you do the fitness task, you click that. If you do a chat, so for tonight, say tonight you're tracking, you came to tonight's chat or you watched a video, you click that. I completed a step class, you click that. You can select which class you completed because you get 1 ballot per class. So say you do 2 classes in a day, it can be recorded or live classes, and then submitting your weight. For those of you who want to track your weight with KickStart, you can, and we actually give you weight stats, which I'll show you guys in a bit.
And we also have last year's, if you scroll up, I saw it
Yes.
right there. So look at that. Where was it? I thought I saw it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a
Okay.
second. It's right here.
There we go. Yeah.
We'll talk about that in the next section. And that's pretty much it for this section right now. So that shows you how to get your tracking done.
And I'm going to repeat something that Nick said. The date is extremely important. Remember when you're there, what date you are tracking for. If you're tracking for the day of, make sure you're clicking the day of. If you're tracking for yesterday, make sure you're tracking yesterday or last week. Because I remembered last Kickstart, I was like, why aren't my days showing up? Because I kept going in and tracking for the same day over and over and over again. And then I went, oh, I need to change the date if I'm backtracking.
And another thing is you don't have to submit your tracker every day. We recommend you submitting every day because it's a consistency,
habit.
it's a habit, it's part of your commitments. But say you submit it a week late because you're out of town, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can go back and submit any days later. Some people even wait till the end of Kickstart to submit it all of them. We don't recommend that, but you can do anything you want. It's up to you. We're not going to police this,
And
okay?
we're going to repeat this as well. This is an honor system.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no way that we know if you're actually doing this or not. We don't but we're hoping, and we know that if you're here because you are trying to make a change and you're trying to do something for yourself. So again, be honest about it as much as you possibly can. We'll let you know when we're not following our commitments. We'll tell you what we've done and what we haven't done.
We're very honest.
Yeah.
We don't lie. We tell you guys when we don't do the right thing. And it's just
Better.
It's part of the process because a lot of us don't also state when we're not doing what we set ourselves out to.
I think it's part of this whole social media
Always perfection.
view that everybody's perfect and that no one does anything off when they're on a wellness journey. They're working out their biceps and they're doing this and they're doing all that and they never have an off day. That to me, that makes no sense. And we need to talk about the off days because those are the days that we need the support more than anything. So we will be very honest with all of you.
So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is why are we tracking? So tracking is important because it gives you I'm a person who likes lists. I love lists. I love being able to cross off things off my list. It's such a sense of accomplishment. So why we ask you to track your commitments is to give you that sense of accomplishment. Yeah. You're going to feel like you've done things. It's also going to encourage you. We've heard a lot from past members who said, even after Kickstart was done, I was, I need to cross off. That people are still thinking about their 10 commitments after 42 days because it became such a habit of tracking every day. And this year, we're not going to stop your tracking for Kickstand. So for those of you who've been doing Kickstart all along this time, Kickstand will allow you to keep tracking, keep doing your commitments so you can keep going in the summer so you don't fall off the wagon like we kind of a little bit did for the last 2 months.
And I think another important thing is when we're talking about this whole tracking concept, it's that whole repetitiveness, okay? So if you notice, we're making you see your commitments everywhere. You're going to see them on the page. You've written them in your book. You write them every week. You rewrite your commitments. And if you don't have the book, we recommend you to do this as well, because you don't need that. But at the beginning of each week, you rewrite your commitments, because when you rewrite something, it sticks to your mind. And like Nick said, as you're going along, you're already going to go through your mental list and say, oh my God, did I do this today? No, I didn't do this today. Okay, I need to get this done because I want to make sure that I got my commitment check mark later, right? And eventually, you're going to most likely be able to rattle off your 10 commitments without even thinking about it. You might not be as specific as you wrote it originally, but you'll be able to write 5 keywords that actually help you remember your commitments, or 10 keywords, I should say.
So now let's talk about the KickStart Score, because this is what helps you gain your consistency. So because you're tracking every day, we tried to create an incentive for people to want to track. And so we created the KickStart Score to reach that pinnacle, or that way for us to be able to be accountable for ourselves.
So all you WW members, right? When we were WW, you know what was really, really, really popular for us is getting our little stickers. Our little sticker stars. I don't know why. It made us so happy to get them, right? Like, I know all of us, or our charms at the end, right? We loved our charms. And it just, I don't know why. I think it has to do with our childhood. Being in elementary school, when you got your book back and you got the gold star, you got the happy face, you got this. It's silly how those little things still impact us today. So that's why we're trying to do this, right? It's not a little gold star because we can't mail it to you, but it's a way for you to see how you're doing by giving you a score.
So your KickStart Score is based entirely on whether you submit your tracker. It doesn't matter if you did all your 10 commitments
or not.
It only counts when you submit your tracker.
So basically what you could do is track the only one that you need to track, which is number 1, technically, because if you come in and just check one off, you basically get a perfect score for the next 42 days.
That's all you need. Track once a day.
We're asking you to be consistent and commit to yourself by tracking all of your commitments. If you're there just tracking the one, you might as well track the other ones and be honest about it, and don't check it off if you didn't do it.
So if your tracker's submitted, you earn a point. If it's not submitted, you don't earn a point. At the end of the program, you'll land on one of the 4 possible levels: diamond,
100%.
gold,
85 to 99% of the time.
silver,
70 to 84%.
bronze,
50 to 69%. Funny.
And what's cool is that the whole community is also competing together, because what we do during Kickstart is that we actually combine all of our stats together on the main dashboard page. And I'll show you guys where to see all this in a bit. And we actually do stats on the entire group. For last session, we had 102 diamond members.
That's insane.
So 102 people submitted their tracker every single day for 42 days.
For 42 days.
That was a 62% submission rate out of all the people who joined us. That's Kickstart.
So this summer, we want to beat that. We want to be above 62. We're aiming for 63%, everybody.
And not just that, people lost 369 pounds combined during Kickstart winter.
That's
so
crazy.
We know that if you track and if you're doing this correctly, you will achieve results. You just have to be willing, and you have to want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We can't make you do this. You have to want it and want to join us for the whole 42 days.
1,000%. I think you hit the nail on the head right there, is the wanting to do this. Because if you are putting things on your commitments that you technically don't want because they're goals that you're struggling with, make sure you want to do these things, right? And not only that, get rid of that whole even just want. You can, because there are people out there that can't do everything we're able to do. So don't take that for granted. Be very, very humble about that.
So I'm going to show you guys now where to see your stats, okay? So for those of you who, again, you go to the dashboard, you see the group statistics, so all of us, how we're doing. It's actually at the bottom of this page now. And I might move it up as Kickstart begins. It was at the bottom because it's not important right now. There's no stats, but this might move up. But it's going to be on your main dashboard page. This is where it shows all of our stats. It shows how many members we are, how many of us are in a diamond, gold, silver, bronze, and how many people have lost weight. And it also shows how many people tracked and the percentages. So these are all statistics. I love numbers. So this is all statistics right here.
Nick.
If you want to see your own personal stats, that's very easy. So let's pretend we're day one of KickStart. On day one, this button will become day one. Right now it's not, so I'll go the other way around. So I'll just go through the daily guide and go show you guys day one. So this is day one's guide. So if you want to see your stats, it's very simple. You just scroll down, and below this track your commitment section that you had on the other page, if you go below that, look, KickStart Score. So your KickStart Score is directly below your tracker. So you can actually scroll down and see, okay, my KickStart Score is how much? What days did I miss? You'll see here if you missed any days you tracked. It'll show you here what days you missed. Oh, I missed Sunday. Okay, I'll go submit it. You can use this to submit all your commitments and then come down and see your score. At the end of KickStart, you will then all be given a final status. And what's cool is there is an actual other page, and I'm going there right now. If you go back to the main dashboard again, and you scroll to the bottom right here, and you see my stats. This is the only your stats page. So if you load this, these are just your statistics. And you'll see here, all it shows is this. So at the end of KickStart, all of our former Kickstarters, many of them have printed this out at the end to show your stats. So you see how you're doing. How do these stats help? Well, there's none there right now, but last time when I did KickStart, I had one of my commitments was to, I don't remember one of them, I didn't do that well. There's one of my commitments I didn't do so well on. I had missed it a lot. So when I was looking at my statistics here for number 10, I had 52% completion. What does that tell me? If I had 100% on number 2, but 59% on 10, it tells me number 2 might be a habit now. I might not need to work on this next time. When I do Kickstarter in the fall, that commitment won't be necessary anymore because now it's a habit. I can remove it. But that one that's at 59%, I need to keep that one. Maybe tweak it. Maybe make it a little different. Maybe it was too hard for this session. Maybe I need to make it a little easier on myself. This is what the stats give you. So you can actually see in not real time, but every day you can see where you're at, how you're doing, and then keep moving forward to see how you can improve or maybe tweak your commitments so you can actually complete them.
How often do you get to see your own statistics about things you accomplish? Where do you get to see that? Except for Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
Yeah.
unless you're that person that does it for yourself. But I know it's silly, but how do they track your productivity at work sometimes? This is how they do it. So what you're doing right now is tracking your own productivity on your wellness journey.
So that's essentially today is our big presentation on commitments, tracking them, submitting them, and then your stats. All of this information is on the dashboard. So if you've missed parts of tonight's session, you can go on a dashboard and read all this information. It's all there. It's also in the book, like we said. We highly recommend all of you who are watching tonight or watching this right now, if you're watching a recording, to start submitting your commitments. Start drafting them out. Start submitting them. If you are not sure about what your commitments should be and you need help, start now. Throw just random things in there, things you think you, and then we will then look at them and then review them and then give you some suggestions if you want us to.
And I really want to give you all some type of word of encouragement. You can't break the website.
Yeah.
Click buttons.
Yeah.
Read. There's a lot of information there, I know, but it is so important because a lot of the questions that we're getting, you can find it on the website. You just have to read the information that's there. That will help you so much. And I know it's sometimes frustrating. We still don't mind helping out. We will always help as much as we can.
It's just hard with 300 people to answer personal questions. So if you have any issues, please just
send an email instead of sending private messages, because the private messages they get lost sometimes. Yeah. And we prefer having the email so we can reply back to you, or going to the contact us page section of our page.
Yeah.
So we got to be real. So some final thoughts before we let everybody go is be real. Okay. You know, there's going to be days you're going to miss something or you're going to have an off week. That's okay. We're not telling you need to be perfect for 42 days, because if we were telling you need to be perfect for 42 days, we would have said, you have to pick something that you got to do 42 days nonstop. You can't do a weekly thing. You can't do it. You can't say, oh, I'm going away on vacation, so I can't do that while I'm No, we're making it work for you. So let's be realistic about that and understand that there's no such thing as perfection.
Kickstarter is not about perfection. It's about just showing up. What we created here is a way for people to be on any improvement life goals.
Yeah.
And able to fully commit for 42 days to those life goals, to work for yourself for 42 days, make yourself priority number one, so that by the end of 42 days, you'll achieve some goals, you might create some new habits, and you might change your life. Because I know some people have made substantial changes since they've done KickStart. Some people have changed their habits or ways they do certain things because they did it for 42 days and it became such a habit that they no longer have to do a commitment for that specific item anymore.
And I honestly think it's really important to remember that, you know, we are all creatures of habit, right? But it doesn't mean habits are all good. So this is what this is doing. And look at this. We're all, not all of us are all WW members. Not all of us are all doing Gina Living. Not all of us are doing, we're all on our own food journey.
Well,
But-
some of you might not even be on the food
and
journey.
some of you might not be, but we're all doing this together. KickStart is the only program that I know that says, let's all work together, even though we're doing things maybe a little bit different, because we can still work together. Our differences is what makes us better.
And so if you want, again, to practice your commitments, you use a form, submit it, we will review them. And if you have a struggle with weekly or not sure how to do a weekly commitment, how to track that, we can talk about that as well.
Definitely.
We have more days, you know, we have Sunday, we still have tomorrow session, we're gonna be talking about cooking, recipes, the contest.
We're gonna be in the kitchen.
We're gonna be cooking. So we're gonna be in the kitchen tomorrow because
we're making regular, real nachos.
Yes.
Because we have like corn tortillas that we're gonna use and make nachos.
Oh, we should use the ones that are, we don't have those anymore.
No.
Yeah, so
No.
just your regular cooked tortillas.
There was a great question that I want to ask you, Hun, because maybe you'll be able to answer this. As far as once I've submitted my commitments of the first week, the second week I'm tweaking one or two of them. Do I need to resubmit every single commitment? Because if I don't, those that have not been tweaked will be missing when you update it.
They'll be wiped out. So the entire form replaces your previous submission.
Yeah.
So that's why we're saying right now, submit your commitments today, your 10 or your 9, have us review it, send it back, and then you can copy them back into your form, submit it again. You can also check off again to have us review it a second time, because people have done that. We've had 2 people have us review it twice. And then once you're good, you don't have to submit it again. So
we're Canada too. Someone says hi from Canada. We're Canada too. Sorry. And then the thing is, the following week, if you revise, let's say you keep commitment 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but your 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are being changed. When you change them, make sure you add the same 5 commitments to start and the last 5. Again, another thing to remember, keep your commitments in the same order.
yes.
Remember to keep
They're
those
right above. It's easy. Copy,
from 1 to
paste,
10,
copy, paste,
right?
copy, paste.
Because if you do 1 and then add the 10 to 1, your stats won't make sense
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
So always make sure your commitment number 1 always stays the same, which it does because we gave it to you. Number 2 always stays the same.
Are
and so
similar in
Yes.
function.
Like you know that it's this that's the commitment.
Exactly. So on that note, we have a few announcements again. So before we end the live feed, and those of you in Zoom, don't forget to stick around. We're going to answer your personal questions. So announcements, books still available. If you look starting next week when we're doing our cooking shows, if you go to page
That's too late.
right here, let's go. Is that week 1?
No, you're like at the end of the book.
No, I'm not.
It looks like you were.
Week 1.
Oh, never mind.
I know my book. So if you look at week 1, there's actually recipes and QR codes. But what's cool is that all the recipes in this book are either in this book or that book. They're in both.
Oh, they're in both.
They're in both.
Look at that.
So those of you who purchased the cookbook in winter, that one,
Which is still available.
which is still available, those recipes are also in there and in here. You do not need the recipe book because the QR codes right beside the recipes.
Bring you to the recipe on the website.
So if you take your phone and you scan this QR code,
Watch.
Jean-Luc will do it right now.
I would do it right now. So take out your camera, you bring your phone right up to the camera, and a little yellow box will appear and it's gonna say, oh, look at that, jeanlucandnick.com. And then I pressed it, and it's gonna bring me to the recipe page. And the recipe is right there. I don't even know is it Benagos?
No, it's onion rings.
No, it's onion rings. It looked like Benagos. But it's onion rings.
So all the recipes are available in the books if you have them, or they're in our website through the QR codes. And a book is full of QR codes. So for those of you who are not tech savvy and you need a bit more assistance, the book also has QR codes to help you every day, to get you to your guide. It has QR codes for different areas for you to be able to get to different areas of the website. So this example right here, there's some QR codes here. So they're throughout the entire book to help you out.
That was another great question from Matt over here. It's about the scorecard and how many commitment, like depending on how many commitments a day. For example, like I'm doing something 4 times a week instead of 7. So you get your score out of all, like as if you did it for the 7 days, even though
I think what he's asked, so how do you're asking how you're tracking that and how it's completed, so how is it scored? So if you're doing something that's I want to walk 4 days a week. So what you do is when you're tracking your commitment on day 1, you ask yourself the question,
Did I walk today?
Did I walk today? No. Can I still walk 4 days?
Yes.
Yes. Checkbox.
I did it.
Day 2, I walk today? Okay, checkbox, good. Day 3, didn't walk. Day 4, didn't walk. Day 5, didn't walk. Day 6, I asked myself the question, did I walk today? No. Can I still walk the last 3 days? No, there's only 1 day left in the week. So therefore, on Saturday, you can't check off the box because you didn't complete your commitment by Saturday. The same thing the other way. If you're saying that I will only have chocolate 4 times a week. Monday, you ask yourself, did I only have chocolate 4 times this week? You had none today? Yes, check. Tuesday, did I have chocolate? You had 1 piece today. So yeah, okay, still good. You ask the same questions every day. If you're doing something that's a month long, right? If you're trying to achieve something in a month, say your goal is at the end of the month, by the end of the month, I want to clean my whole living room. That's my end goal. And by the end of September, of May, my living room will be cleaned. That's one of your commitments. It's not I won't suggest that one. I'm just throwing it out there as an example. And so you ask yourself every day in May, can I still clean my living room by the end of May? Yes, check box. So you check it based on if you can achieve it still. Your actual check boxes don't count towards your score. Remember, the only thing that counts for your score is, did you submit your tracker? So even if you don't do your commitments, say you decide, I'm not doing this, but I still want to be in the prize. I don't suggest that either. I'm just giving out examples. You can go to the page every day, check box the first one and just submit and say, I'm done, and just walk away. Like, of course, that's not going to help you achieve your goals, and that's not what KickStart's for, but I don't know what you're doing at home. I'm not policing any of this, right? So that's the way you track those weekly or long-term goals on the dashboard. So on that note, we will now end the live feed after these last few announcements.
Yes.
So 3 things. You can still buy the books. If you want to help support the KickStart community to help us keep this free going forward, we do buy different we are affiliated to different products, Sunset Gourmet, Tupperware, and Amazon. We have an Amazon shop, so if there's any products you guys are looking that we use, you can go to these links.
I got a new link for the stepper.
Okay.
We're gonna switch it.
Okay. We also have events coming up. We have the Kelly Shires Breast Cancer Foundation Pick Ribbon Walk, followed by a picnic lunch for my 42nd birthday on May 24th at 10 a.m. at Uxbridge.
And then we're also doing the Shoppers Drug Mart Run for Women 5K/walk on June 7th downtown. That's 8 a.m. And after that, we'll go have lunch together somewhere close by. And that's like the last day of KickStart.
Yeah, it is. It is the last day of KickStart. So it'll be a celebration of KickStart ending on that day as well. So that's the links for the different places. And then we have Kelly Shires right here. I'm going to share that link too.
And we also have coming up that we're still working on is our brunch cruise. Stay tuned for that. We have until the end of April to let us know if you're interested. We are doing a Toronto Harbor brunch cruise on the Toronto Odyssey. So we'd love to have you guys come join us if you can. I think we're almost like at 50, 60 people interested right now. Yeah. Which is amazing.
Even out of towners. Yeah. There's people out of town, they're going to come down. Which is kind of nice.
Which is cool.
Come visit Toronto and have fun with us. So we're
all vacationing in Canada right now.
Yeah, we are.
as much as
as
possible.
much as possible. So for those of you who can join us, come and join us. We will be back tomorrow night for our 4th orientation session, the last one of the week until Sunday. Because Friday, Saturdays, there's no sessions. This has been built in so you guys can catch up on Monday to Thursday sessions or Sunday to Thursday sessions. If you missed any of them, use the next 2 days.
Go back and watch them again if you need to.
Watch those videos, make sure you understand what's going on, and then Sunday we're gonna kick this all off.
Yeah.
So on that note,
Bye, TikTok. Have a great night. Stick around.